Hello, everyone. Happy Winning Wednesday. Today is Winning Wednesday. We are going to have a phenomenal conversation tonight on Winning Wednesday, and it is the 12th day of Black History Month, which we know Black History is 365, but here we are on our last year of celebrating Black History Month potentially. But we're going to have a phenomenal conversation tonight. And so I'm going to give you guys a moment to welcome everybody in. I'm going to share it to my pages before we get started. So come on in and we're going to have a conversation this evening with someone. So I cannot wait to have this conversation. I think it is going to be phenomenal. Um, we said we're doing Kwanzaa 365 days a year. And in my humble opinion, this is an example of Kaumba creativity. Um, our guest, Hotep, has created something phenomenal for our children, and we're going to be talking about it in just a moment. So just bear with us as we share these lives to our pages. Hotep, you can grab it off of the Black Educators Rock Inc. page. It's because it's a public page. You can share it anywhere to your page. We're going to be doing the same thing. It's also streaming to my YouTube page. So it'll be, and it's on the two Black Educators Rock pages and the groups. So I'm just going to make sure that it's streaming really quickly. And so guys, come on in, share it. And we're going to get started in just a moment. We're going to have for the first few minutes, I'm going to, he may want to stay on. I'm going to actually bring on my son, my youngest son, once I see he has his camera on, because we're having this conversation tonight with Hotep about, as you guys can see in the back, he has his own anime, as you saw the flyer, called Black Lion and Cubs. And my son is an avid anime enthusiast. So he's really into anime. So I'm going to allow him and Hotep to have some conversation as well. So 1 second while I share these lives. This is Louisiana. That is not the right group. Questions? No, not groups. It's a page, isn't it? It's a page. Alexander, are you going to turn your camera? I see you down there, sweetie, but you don't have your camera on. There you go. You ready? You're going to come up and meet the people?
Alexander the Great.
The greatest. I call him Alex the Greatest.
All right.
Hotep created his own anime. And so in a minute, I'm gonna want you to see what he has. And we're gonna have some conversations about it, okay? So while we're waiting, while I'm sharing this post, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself, Hotep, and then Alex, why don't you introduce yourself and tell them what you do currently and all that good stuff. So
all right, what's going on, world? This is Hotep, the creator of Black Lion and Cubs, the new family-friendly anime brand with Black heroes. Very excited and proud to be able to present the brand to the world, and really blessed to have created something that, although it came from a very selfish energy for something that I wanted to do for my own sons, the fact that so many other people see the value of it and how it can impact their families, how it can impact the children, because I'm an educator as well. And also the fact that what I'm doing as an independent creative is not just, is not just good for our children. It's important for other independent creatives who have a vision and who have a dream and want to see it to fruition. So Alex, you might know about this my goal here. It's to be the next biggest thing since Dragon Ball Z. And if you know anything about Dragon Ball Z, you know I got a long way to go. And that's the reason why I'm doing my first Kickstarter here, to introduce a new character to Black Lion and Cubs storyline, the amazing Araya. And so that's who I am. That's what I'm doing. And I'm grateful to be able to have an opportunity to speak to you, Dr. Chester, your son as well, and the rest of your audience to help make this thing as big as it can be.
That is awesome. And so anime. So now I know Dragon Ball Z is one of the, I guess, the larger ones. But Alex, what are some of the other names of some animes that exist?
For the newer gen, you got like Fire Force, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen. Just it's a lot.
It's a lot. And so before we start talking about it, it's a lot of them because I want to. Well, who are you? Tell us who you are. You know, where do you attend school? What do you do? What are your activities? All that great stuff.
I'm Alex. I go to St. John's Country Day School. I play football, soccer, and right now I'm in season for baseball. We just had our first game. That's
What
pretty
grade?
much. What'd you say?
What grade are you in?
7th grade.
7th grade. And who's your mother?
Dr. Melissa Chester.
That, guys, is my baby boy. That's Alexander. I have an Aiden who is 14. Alex does soccer, baseball, and football. Aiden does lacrosse, football, and he stopped doing basketball, but he used to do basketball as well. And so they keep us busy and running. But in his spare time, Hotel, he is all about the anime. Like I'll go in the room sometimes and just watch them with him. And so he does enjoy anime. So when it comes to anime, Alex, what is it about anime that draws you to it? Like, what do you like about anime?
I think it's just the story and also just usually like how it's animated. It shows like more effects and details than you can get in a live action show or just like a normal cartoon. It's almost like a more mature type of cartoon. And it draws in a lot of like teens and preteens because you're still watching cartoons like when you were a kid, but you're also getting more of a story like when you're an adult.
Well said. Well said. Man.
You agree with that, Hotel? You know, listen, creator?
Well, I'm going to tell you this much. I don't know much about today's anime, right? My wonder years, when he's talking about, teens and preteens, my wonder years were in the 80s. So my frame of reference for what I created comes from the Transformers, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, and the original Voltron. In fact, Voltron was my point of reference for the creation of mine. And that's why I tell people all the time, Black Lion and Cubs is not only an anime, it's a retro style anime. So anything that you'll see, whether you're reading my graphic novels, watching the anime, or even playing the video games, it will all remind you of things that that were popular in the 80s. The original NES, Mega Man, Bionic Commando, and Super Mario Brothers and stuff like that. So there's a generation gap between. Because back then we didn't even call it, we didn't even know it was called anime. It was just Voltron, right? Now you come to find out, you see, to Alex's point, that there is a very distinct artistic style of the animation that I personally like more than just the American style of how we animate. Even Disney is dope and such, and Pixar, but I really like that the anime style of art. And so that's why I decided to go with that genre, and also because it's extremely popular. My children like it, so much like you as a parent, you want to support your children. You'll do anything for your children, and that's why Black Lion and Cubs is here today, and why I've been so feverishly working at it to bring it to fruition.
Okay, so Alex, so he was just talking about. So do you recall? Transformers. Would you guys put those in the same vein, anime? Because like when you define anime, what makes it anime? I'm just curious.
It's pretty much like it's a Japanese cartoon, but like I said, it's like more mature. It's not like it's babyish. It's not the big eyes, the big eye people, or like just little skits or whatnot. It's just it really tells a story more. And Transformers, I don't know, because they have the live action ones, but they also have like the cartoons. But I know Voltron, yeah, that's an anime. Because there's a newer version of Voltron that I watched.
Is there? Okay. Wow, I gotta check that out. I don't, I'm an old head, Alex, man. Like people ask me, Hotep, what you listening to? If it didn't come out before 1995, I don't know nothing about it, man. I'm stuck in a time zone.
Get you a focus group with Alex and some of them, so they they help you, they feed it to you, so you don't have to even worry about trying to learn something new. Like I said, I just know when I watch with him, when he's talking about these storylines, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, most times these storylines are like you're learning some type of like characteristic or trait, or you're learning some type of like they're trying to teach you something like maybe about loyalty or about bravery. Like most times those storylines. So like your favorite anime, what's the storyline behind your favorite anime?
Favorite is probably Naruto, and the storyline is him trying to like him growing as a person, training, getting better, and like bringing his best friend back to like the village, back home. And he like grows a lot as a person, becomes less childish. Yeah, just stuff like that, and it usually teaches you a life lesson also.
And that one is called Naruto.
Mm.
It's called Naruto. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. We've just kind of started having a conversation, but we're here tonight on this 12th night of Black History Month, talking to Hotep. Hotep is a father, educator, and new creator of an anime. His anime series is called Black Lion and Cubs. And if you know anything about anime, if you're a parent, you know that your children may be into anime. It's important and imperative that you understand that a lot of times some anime doesn't have any quality to it. And so, like I said, there are tons of them out there. My son, who happens to be an anime enthusiast, watches them religiously. And so I've come into the room and laid down with him and watched them sometimes. And to his point, they always have like some serious storylines. And so we are excited that, but what I can say about when I've gone into those rooms, Alex, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see many Black people on anime. Anime is more so what?
Mm-hmm.
Japanese, right? Japanese.
Yeah, I mean they sprinkle some here and there, but mostly yeah.
Yeah, because I the times I've watched, I've never seen representation of Black people, melanated people in the anime. And so that is what Hotep has for us. And so Hotep, you want me to right now? So first, before I show it, before we show the good people the preview that you have of it, why did you say you created it? Why was it important for you to create this series?
So anybody that knows me, and some of your followers might know me because I am an educator, and I've been so for good 25 years plus now. I'm from a particular culture. Like I just did an interview a few minutes ago, and I told the people, I said, listen, I'm not from the DEI culture. I'm from the DIY culture. You understand? Not the DEI, the DIY. The difference being DIY stands for do it yourself. So I don't know anything about waiting for opportunity. My whole lifestyle has always been predicated by the idea that I should create my own opportunity, whether it's the books that I've written, whether it's the music that I'm putting out, the films, and this project is no different, except for the fact that now I'm a father. And I found that my children like anime. They're only 3 years old and 5-year-old. And to your point, when I got a chance to see some of today's anime, as Alexander said, it is very mature. I don't see faces that look like ours. It's extreme. Some of it is extremely violent and over-sexualized. Bottom line is that's cool for us as adults, but not cool for my 3 and 5-year-old. So the point of the matter is I couldn't find what I was looking for my children in the space of anime. I couldn't find it, so I created it. And that's where Black Lion and Cubs came from. I had to ensure that there was a space and a place that in that world that represented us. And I don't ask to be a part of other people's table. I'm more a part of building my own table and allowing people to sit at the table that represents us and speaks to our spirit and culture. That's what Black Lion and Cubs is. For what I'm doing now, so up until this point, and Black Lion and Cubs is only 1.5 years old, but I've already produced graphic novels, video games, and have other animations out there. This project for Amazing Araya is something new, special, and different. It's a higher quality animation, and it introduces the main female character to the storyline. Amazing Araya, well, you know what? So let me just say that's what it does. That's what it is. I'm raising funds. I'm not even raising funds. I am, you'll see that, I have a goal that I've already met financially, but this Kickstarter is more about me testing the crowdfunding model to see if it's viable, but then also to give people the opportunity to contribute to what I've been doing. Some of you know the African adage or statement proverb that says, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. I've been going fast all my life. I have no problem doing so. But with this project, It's important to the level that I want to take it farther than I've ever been before. That's why I've chosen Dragon Ball Z as the standard, right? I want to become the next biggest thing. I want Black Lion and Cubs to be the next biggest thing since Dragon Ball Z. In order to accomplish that goal, it requires going far, which means I need people behind me. As you see on my screen right there, I've already, accomplished raising over $1,000 with only 22 people. That means that I have strong people that really believe highly in what I do. The goal is to get more backers, not so much just the money, but to get more backers. My next goal is to have 100+ backers behind this project. That'll make me happy. That'll make me satisfied. So at this point, Dr. Chester, if you don't mind, I'd love to share with people the background behind the amazing Raya. They get a chance to see who she is and a little bit behind her storyline that's coming to life.
Okay, let's see if we can share it.
It's the other page, the other link, the Vimeo link.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the Kickstarter.
Yes. But you can keep that up for later.
Is this it? You guys see my screen still or no?
No.
Hold on.
It was still the Kickstarter.
Hold on. Let me redo it. Present. Share screen. Yes.
You got it.
Okay, how do I play it? Let's see. I don't know. Hotep is not allowing me to play it.
You want me to try it from my side?
Try it from your side. Hold on. Because this is it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I thought, but it did give me an let me see something.
Can you hover above it and hover on it, and you'll see the play button?
That's what I was doing. Hold on, let's do this. We'll do this. Let's Y'all don't hear that.
A vision for my
You see it now?
character for
Hear
me
it?
to develop. Telling her story was important. Araya was a really fun character to develop. Telling her story was important to me because when I first started Black Lion and Cubs, it was centered around a father and his two sons, and there just was a lot of male energy within my stories. For me to flip the scales in some type of way, because I was moving things towards the focus on the children, the two cubs. I wanted to create a girl character to offset the two boys. So that was the reason why I created Araya and provide a vision for my female readers, a focal point for which they can see themselves. The story of Araya starts off at King Ramses' compound in his palace somewhere. Black Lion and his nephews are spending the night. And so the story starts with Black Lion in the boys' room, opening the blinds and waking them up. And the boys are groggy because they have been practicing the day before with Queen Isis, who everyone knows is the strongest luminaire of everybody. And so Black Lion says, hey, listen, guys, I know you're tired, but it's important. I need to let you know about your cousin, Araya. And the boys are like, what? Our cousin? Because they've never heard of this cousin before. This is the first time that they're hearing about Araya. Black Lion continues to say, Araya is your cousin. She's the daughter of King Ramses. She's the first child of your generation. So she's your older cousin. For the same reasons why we tried to keep you guys a secret, It was for her own protection that people didn't know she existed and who she was. Black Lion opens the door and Araya comes running in with a big smile, so excited to meet her cousins for the first time. She gives them a huge hug, and she's really excited because while the boys didn't know about her, she knew about them. She says, "Hey, Osaru, I've heard about your powers of luminescence and how you're able to manipulate frequencies of sound." And she loves Saladin's ability to go supernova. All this attention is kind of off-putting to the boys because they're not used to it. You know, they've never been in the kind of situation where people are adorning them or celebrating them in such a capacity. Araya is well trained in her powers of luminescence. She's extremely powerful, just as powerful as Saladin and Osaru. And throughout Araya's life, Isis plays the role of a mother to her. She tells of how Isis actually gave her a jade stone, and this jade stone acts as a catalyst. And that's the reason why when Araya taps into her powers of luminescence, she has a green glow. That's how she got the nickname, the Jade Princess. And she's so excited, she wants to show and prove herself as a powerful being to her cousins. And so she shows off her power. The boys loved her display of power, but they had questions about whether or not she'd be able to join them on their adventures like she wanted to, because one, she was a girl, and two, she hadn't been battle tested yet. So she quickly thought of a way that she can really show them how powerful she was and prove herself. And she basically turns to the boys, extends her hands to give them a handshake. And instead of shaking their hand, she flips them over on their behinds and looks at the boys very sternly and said, "Hey, what do you think now? What do you think about that?" And the boys look at each other and start laughing because basically they've been caught slipping and they probably misjudged this young girl who's not only powerful, but witty and has a lot of, spunk and personality. They get up, apologize, give Araya a big hug, and they say, "You know what, Araya? Welcome to the team." And I end the story there because ultimately it is at this point that Araya joins the Black Lion and Cubs family and team. As we refer to Black Lion and Cubs, it not only refers to Super Saladin and Awesome Osaru, but now the title Cubs includes Mighty Moto and, yes, Amazing Araya, the Jade Princess.
Well, all right. So, you guys unmute. You can unmute.
Yes.
So, that's Amazing Araya. She's coming to join her cousins.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, those are your sons' names, right?
Saladin and Osaru. Yes, those are my boys.
Osaru are your boys. So
Yeah.
this is very, very personal for you.
Very personal. Even Araya, she's patterned after my niece. And so what had happened is, as I continued developing Black Lion and Cubs, I recognized that there was a lot of male energy, a father, his two sons. And that's cool because, there's a space for that. However, my readership and the people that were purchasing my graphic novels weren't all men. And frequently, some of the mothers would ask about, something for their daughters. And I said, that would only be right as I continue to build a storyline that I have a female character to offset and balance all that male energy. So the question was, who would that character be? What would she be like? Thank you, Dr. Grubbs. I appreciate you. Dr. Chester, if you don't mind putting the Kickstarter link somewhere that they can access it and click on it, because it seems like, we got some people that would be interested in backing it. I'd appreciate that.
I share that in the chat. I shared it.
Thank you. So my niece comes over every Christmas, and my two sons, they love their cousin Araya. And so they're always celebrating and excited when she comes over. She's older than them. And so she's always kicking their butts, and they're always trying to keep up with her. So I said, you know what, that would be fun to take her, take her personality, elements of her personality and who she is, and allow that to be a focal point for the new character, Amazing Araya. And so that's literally my niece's name. Her name is Araya. Those beads are something that she wears all the time. And so I took those elements to help craft her. Her personality, though, for Amazing Araya, and when you watch the animes, you see behind me, her personality is patterned more after a character from a TV show in the 80s called Punky Brewster. Dr. Chester, you remember Punky Brewster?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so Punky Brewster was a very spirited young girl, and I thought that someone like that would be important. You know, that my female character be strong, confident, willful, have high self-esteem, and be someone that could, you know, go toe to toe with the boys, and also help the boys learn about, you know, that, you know, challenge the boys' perception of what girls are, right? Because, you know, sometimes as boys grow up, oh, girls are weak, or they're silly, or they're, you know, just, you know, all those things that boys sometimes attribute to being a girl. So I wanted to make sure that this this young lady character would be, would tackle those, help them tackle those issues. And so that's kind of why she is the way she is.
Okay, question for you. What do you think your age demographic is for Black Lion and Cubs?
So, you know, people ask me that all the time. I say it's family friendly, meaning that it's for all ages. When you watch Black Lion, it's not for children, it's for the entire family to experience and enjoy. So if you're an adult, you can enjoy it. And if you're a 3-year-old child like my youngest son is, you can enjoy it. If you're looking for the ultra violence and the, you know, mature topics and such, you might find a few mature topics, but nothing inappropriate. I want a parent like myself to be able to put their 3-year-old child, 2-year-old, 1-year-old child on their lap and watch this without having to cover ears and eyes. You see what I'm saying? The family experience is very important to me. That's the reason why, you know, my animations play on Black Education Station, by the way.
Black Education Station. Well, Alex, wait, first before we get into that, Alex, what is the thing? So can you believe he created his own anime? Like, isn't that awesome off of his sons and his niece? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Thank
It's
you,
a good
Mama.
idea. I like that.
Thank you. Well, what'd you like about the story? Were you able to hear the story?
Yeah, I heard it.
What'd you think about the story? What'd you like about it?
Just that all the characters were like, I think it would be really good for kids, especially Black kids, because, you know, they see people that look like them being strong and powerful and impactful in doing stuff, especially girls and obviously boys too. But yeah, I think that'd be really good for kids.
Man, thank you, Alex, man. And now you done my heart well. I might drop a thug tear today that you saying that. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing for adults to say that and recognize that, but for you at your age to say something like that is really meaningful to me, because, you know, that's what it's intended to do. The whole theme of Black Lion and Cubs is true power comes from within. As an educator and now as a parent, I know how important it is to build children young, strong, right? As Dr. Chester knows, Frederick Douglass said it best: it's easier to build strong children than to do the repair work and repair broken men and women. So as a father, it's of prime importance that my children are reared to be strong and be able to navigate a world that is sometimes not, you know, is not favorable to them, but not make excuses for it, not feel sorry for themselves and sit back and wait for other people to do that which they can do for themselves. And so I have that conversation with adults all the time. There's a lot of adults that don't understand that. I want to make sure my 3 and 5-year-old understand that now. So as they continue to grow, just like your parents prepared you, they're able to navigate this world, man, in such a way that they can get whatever they want out of this world. You understand? So I'm glad that you're seeing that, my brother. And now you done put another Energizer battery in my back, man. Watch your boy work, man. Watch me work.
All right. Well, Alex, I know you probably got some homework you want to get to. Thank you for being willing to jump on at such short notice. You know, I was like, hey, I need you to jump on. He's like, okay, mommy. So I appreciate it. You can go back to whatever you were watching, and we appreciate you. All right. Enjoy.
Peace, Alex. Peace.
All right. Bye.
So yeah, so
You're doing good, Dr. Chester. Pat yourself on the back. Pat yourself on the back.
The work in progress. Every day is a work in progress, and I know it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not perfect, but they are pretty good boys. They're solid. They're far more aware of society dynamics than most children their age, and that was just important for me. Like you're saying, it was important for me for them to understand who they are, what they are, who society may try to tell them they are, and what they are, and so for them to have that. So, like you said, I mean, when he said it, as you can see, he's authentic. That's not anything practiced or rehearsed. He knows it's important for young kids to see themselves in that light, because it's not a lot of like I said, there's none when it comes to that genre, that anime, because I watch with him all the time. I'm just watching all these fair-skinned people, and most times they're Japanese. They're not even American. They're Japanese, because they're the origins of the ones they're into now are the true Japanese anime. And so this is phenomenal. This is awesome.
Thank you.
If you're watching and you want to put something in the chat on either of the platforms, any questions or comments, feel free to do so. And so tell us, what is the ultimate goal? Like, is there, because you talked about Black Education Station. So let's talk a little bit. So you guys, let me back up. So I'm Black Educators Rock, as we all know. Black Educators Rock is a national nonprofit, member nonprofit. We have members all across the country. We put on an annual professional development conference every summer. We're preparing for our 10th annual conference, the Rock Conference, this summer. Back to Houston, Texas, because they loved Houston. And so I was trying to go to Chicago. They were like, no, we want to run it back, because Houston was good to us. And so we're going to be back in Houston this summer, July 17th through the 21st. Thursday evening starts with the opening mixer. And then Friday morning, we start with those education classes on Friday and Saturday. Guys, we always have some mixers and some turn-ups after the trainings. And so we're excited about that. But they're at Black Educators Rock, at the Rock Conference. Black Education Station is where I was introduced by you to Black Education Station. And so why don't you talk a little bit about who they are, your role with Black Education Station? And then we can
all right. Now let me step out of my Black Lion and Cubs. Let me take that hat off for a moment and talk about something that's even bigger than what I'm doing in the anime space, which is being the the president of the board of directors, or the board for Black Education Station. For those that are not familiar, Black Education Station is like Disney, Netflix, and PBS Kids, but all Black, owned by Black people, curated by Black educators and parents and experts, and dedicated to the education of children ages 0 to 10. So it operates like Netflix. It looks like PBS Kids, but it's more it's dedicated to to our culture and our children, the best of us. And they just, Dr. Chester, I don't know if you saw the commercial. They just launched the commercial for their upcoming series, which is like nothing short of Sesame Street. They have a Sesame Street style series with all Black people. So if you remember, Mr. Hooper, was he the Black man in Sesame Street? Was that Mr. Hooper? Gordon. I think it was Gordon in Sesame Street. Or if you remember Morgan Freeman in Electric, you know what? Their show is more like Electric Company, because it's got flavor. You know what I'm saying? It's got more flavor. So it's like Morgan. It's like, remember Morgan Freeman in Electric Company? Every part of their show, which is called House of Wonder, is like Morgan Freeman on steroids for Electric Company. 3, 2, 1 contact, for those that used to watch these shows and know what I'm talking about. So, our Black Education Station is a big deal. Like, it's people can't really appreciate it, because when they see it, they're like, well, is this, or they hear about it, say, well, is it on YouTube? No, it's not on YouTube. It's its own ecosystem. Like, it's Netflix, not on Netflix. It competes with Netflix. Black owned, educational, for children ages 0 to 10. And I have the blessing of being a part of it, to the extent that I run the board and I have some of my content on the network.
You're the chair of the board, and then
the chair of the board. I don't even know what to call these titles. I have so many different titles.
I sit on the board, and there's some other people that sit on the board, and so our goal, just like you said, just to kind of expand this platform. And so great. I'm just wondering, how could like educators like subscribe to it, find it. So when it comes to
Yeah.
Black Education Station,
I'll put it in the chat. It's just blackeducationstation.com. You go to it like you go to Netflix. You can download it everywhere. Like it's an app. It's a streaming app.
so this gentleman on here, this is Mike Grubbs. He's here in Jacksonville, Florida. This is a good friend of mine. He actually, and I need to connect you to, he has Lit TV, and I think I told you about him. He has Lit TV Network. Lit is an acronym for leveraging information together. And so he has different channels. So it's a network. It's more like Roku, it's more like that type of streaming network, and different entities, different organizations come on. They have channels. We have a Duval channel. We have a Duval County Public Schools has a channel. Mayo Clinic, Mayo Hospital, they have a Black Men's Health channel. So there are two different channels. So I'll make sure to connect you to.
Yeah, please.
So yes. And so, not by happenstance that Mike is here. Just like you had me join Black Education Station, I'm having Michael join. He's going to join the UNCF, United Negro College Fund board with me because of the work he does in this space. But I will make sure to connect you to.
Okay. Looking forward to it. Absolutely.
Your content is so specific. Like you said, it's 0 to 10, guys. It's like having like that educational channel that you can turn on and maybe teach from, use curriculum. And so please check out blackeducationstation.com.
You got to. You guys see what our president is doing. No, in fact, no one knows what he's doing. I don't think he knows what he's doing, but it's causing chaos. And this is what I do know. I've been working in public schools for the last 20 plus years. I am very concerned about the future of public education.
As well as I.
My wife and I, just like you, we're in a space where it really doesn't matter what happens to public education for our kids. I can send them wherever I want to, right? Private school, all the chart, whatever we want. We have the choices, homeschool, whatever we want to do, we can do the best. We can afford the best for our children. But the vast majority of the people in our community cannot. So what's going to happen is, as you know, in our public schools, our children are already behind. They're talking about disrupting the Department of Education, taking away funding and things of that nature, which is going to cause more confusion and chaos, which is going to put our children even further back. So all I'm here to say is this: we cannot allow people to continue to play politics with the lives of our children. You should not be good with the idea of allowing these people to play politics with your children's lives. You have the opportunity to take a stronger hold and firmer hold over what your children are exposed to, the type of education they get. I'm not saying Black Education Station is everything for your children, but it's a support. It's an add-on. It's a supplement to whatever you choose to do for your children. 24/7, accessible everywhere. You can't tell me you can't afford $10 a month. Don't tell me $10 is too much for you. Come on, stop it. $10. Most people
have Starbucks twice that week, right? Don't have Starbucks twice that week, and that's theirs.
Exactly. Right? I mean, listen, don't get me talking. A smoothie. I drink one smoothie a day. That costs me $10. Multiply that times 30. That's $300 a month. And that's the money that people are spending. Don't tell me you can't afford $10 a month. And if you're telling me that, then you got to check your priorities when it comes to your child's education, or check. And even if you don't have kids, just the fact that this thing exists during Black History Month, the fact that we have something so historical in our community should be enough that you say, you know what, I don't even have kids, but I stream a Black Education Station, or I'm going to, gift the subscription to someone else. You understand? So there's no way around this, in my opinion, for people that truly care and are committed to the education, the safety, and the well-being of our children. Because we need to stop the reliance and begging Netflix and Disney and complaining about what these people are doing or not doing. Take that into our own hands. You guys know what I say all the time. It's either ownership or a slave ship. Get off the slave ship and be a part of the ownership.
I'm hearing all this rhetoric and, all these social media posts about, we all we got, and we have to really truly believe in that. My shirt is purposeful tonight. It's what you see what it says.
What is this? I can't see that. I see black on black. Oh, there you go. There it is.
right? Black
Yeah.
on black education. Like you
That's
got it. You can't keep talking of it. You got to walk it. Can't keep saying you're about this life and you're about supporting your own and understanding the economics of it. And again, as you guys know, we did Kwanzaa. We said Kwanzaa is not just 7 days. Kwanzaa is 365 days. In a very short while, I'm going to be having an announcement as it relates to Kwanzaa. But y'all, we got to be working and living and breathing Kwanzaa every day. And so tonight, I thought that Hotel was an awesome example of Kaumba creativity. We have to create for ourselves, right?
Yes,
we have to create for ourselves and not wait on someone else to tell us what our narrative is.
Yes. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to tell you something really sad. So my wife's an attorney. And every once in a while, when we go to these big attorney events in Atlanta, we sit down with some very prominent multimillionaire attorneys that get the big cases, right? I sat down with one. I'm not going to say his name. He's a very prominent, black attorney. We're sitting down eating dinner, fine dinner, just an amazing dinner. And, we're talking about the state of black people in this country. This is a very dark-skinned black man who's very centered in our culture, has put his children through college many times, right? Grandchildren as well. He turns to me, says, Hotep, listen, man, you know who I am and what I'm about, but I'm here to let you know it's a wrap for black people in America. These are his words. He said, it's a wrap for black people in America. He says, I'm out here in these streets working on behalf of us as black people, but our mindset and mentality is so backwards. It's still such a poverty mindset, Dr. Chester. We still suffer from such a slave mindset that everybody is surpassing us. We have the numbers, we have the money, we have the intelligence, affluence, influence in our community, yet we squander it away, begging and pandering, for people to give us a seat at their table. Meanwhile, you got the Asians and the Latinos and everyone else, the Indians, right? Building their own tables. You come to Atlanta, we don't even have Auburn Avenue anymore. But you come to, but there's other places in the Georgia area, local Atlanta area. You have Mexican cities, right? You have Asian cities to the extent you can't even understand what the stores are about because they write it in their own language. But you never see these people marching and complaining and having protests. They get busy. They don't complain. They get busy. And he said this to me. He said, Hotep, it's a wrap for us as black people. We don't want it. We're not about this life. We're socialized in a way that he doesn't believe we will ever, get over. And it made me very sad because I know how powerful this man is. I know how influential. And it came out of his mouth. And I said, sir, you know what? I can't even argue with you. Right? The saddest part of that bout is that I couldn't even argue with the man. But the difference is I'm always optimistic. I have hope. You understand? I'm going to fight the fight through and through till the end. I'm going to see it through. One of my mantras is to live full and die empty. You understand? Live full and die empty. So that's the reason why I live, a great lifestyle, but I put it all out there on the line. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's my creative ideas, whether it's ideas for empowerment of people, I'm going to see it through. I'm going to reach out and connect and try to network with people. If they, if I draw back enough, then that's just what it is. But you can't say I didn't try. You can never say I didn't try.
I think what has happened, Hotep, I think honestly, and it's for me, I see light. There is a lot of darkness, a lot of light as well. And I think what happens is, and I was having this conversation with a colleague of mine, Dr. Dennis McKesey, who has an organization similar to Black Educators Rock, but they're more superintendents, principals, recording artists. You have all types of leaders. And so it's called Off School Grounds, because they say the work begins off school grounds for our children, right? Things like food insecurity. So he and I were having this conversation. I think what happens is it's a trick of we allow, and that's why I love Mike Grubbs and Lit TV, right? So what happens is we know that with social media and all these things, there are algorithms, right? And so I tend to always be like behind the times when stuff is going on. Like when they, whenever something's traumatic going on, I'm like, what y'all talking about? Because I don't get this stuff in my feed. My feed is very Pan-African. It's very positive. It's a little bit of spirituality, because of course what you search for, they start giving you more of. And so he and I were talking, and he was talking about, number 47, and he was saying, we contribute to that madness, because what we do is we promote their narratives unconsciously, right? I do think there are a lot of great things happening with us. I think that we have some great opportunities. I think that there are some grassroots efforts, but I think what happens is we'll see something, we're like, yeah, we're sharing it, we're commenting on it, but we don't do that with positivity. Like, you will see a post that's about something phenomenal, and it'll have 200 likes, but something that's just asinine will have 200,000 likes, right? And I think and that was something, and I dropped the ball on that, because he and I had that conversation. And what I wanted to was all Black organizations like to have an initiative for Black History Month. And I wanted to come up with like a little theme for it, where, like, we're not tuning in, like we ignoring that shit. Like we're not, that's not what I'm posting. I'm not commenting on it. I'm not sharing the post. I'm not doing that. Only positivity, only things that show us in positive light. All the fighting videos and this videos and that videos. If it's not about the betterment of us, if it's not about the upliftment of us, we should not be so engaged in it. We shouldn't be the ones that is promoting it. And I think we have to do a better job of that as Black folks. I think
that's the truth.
Just believe that that's the case. But I see too many bright lights with young people. I see too many bright lights with like OSG and Black Education Rock and Black Education Station. Like, enough people don't know about us, right? But they know about the hood stuff, but they don't know about us. And I think that's something that we as individuals have to change. And you change yours.
How, Dr. Chester? This is I'm going to play devil's advocate right here. Of course you're right. I mean, yeah, we have to. When are we going to do that? What's it going to take? This is my question to you. What is it going to take? How many of us have to die? How many of us have to see the foolishness that other people are doing before we making a change? To my point, the gentleman said this to me, and I could not argue with him, because what you said is true. The conversation we're having is old. Like, listen, I'm 51 years old. This conversation that we're having right now, people have been having at least another 50 years.
And because when he and I talked, when Dr. McKee and I talked, and I talked to another colleague of mine, and we were talking, and we talked about how lost this new generation is. And this new generation is lost because of us. Like, y'all like, you talk that shit, but when you talk about they're lost because we have not done what us and the ones before us. Because do
you think we ever will, Doc? This is the question to play. Do you think we ever will? That's my question to you. Do you think we will?
I think it starts with individuals, right?
It does. You're not asking my question. I'm interviewing you now, Doc.
I think so.
Do you think we will?
You have to be. I think so.
When do you think we will? When do you think we'll make the turn? What's it going to take, or what's going to happen that's going to make us make the turn? What needs to change? What are we going to do?
And I think it's a unity of self. I talked about this in Kwanzaa. I think it's individualistic. I think what happens is we're looking for these big mass movements, and it's not going to happen like that. The movement is going to happen individually. It's going to happen one household at a time. And then as Hotep household, like he has he's creating this anime for other children because he created for his children based off his children. And now that's being shared at his cousin's house. And I think it's going to be a slight ripple effect and not this big tsunami that people think it's going to be. And I think what we have to do is, I think, honestly, too many of the, as they would say, the 10% of the people, I think we're looking for Superman. I think we're looking for the heroes and the activists and the spokespersons like the previous people, when those people are us. Because like you said, when we're talking about, one of my most favorite quotes is, bad things happen when good people choose to do nothing. I mean, we would consider ourselves good people. Some of us consider ourselves solid people. We do right by our family, but you don't do anything to contribute to the community at large. You're not doing anything to contribute to the at large. You're not supporting anything that supports us. You're not supporting anything that supports you. And I think I think it happened. I do.
Listen. I haven't given up. I'll tell you what. There's a gentleman. I forget his name. He's a great thought leader. in our society in the 80s. In the 80s, he predicted what's happening right now with us in the 80s.
I was just Claude Anderson.
Claude Anderson, there you go.
Talking about
Okay.
Claude.
Yeah.
Saying where we were going to be today.
He said, so again, I don't know. It's hard for me. I don't know what it's going to take, Dr. Chester. I couldn't argue with this gentleman that said it because I see it all around me, right? I see what we're doing to ourselves. I don't know. We've had the George Floyds and the deaths of all our of Malcolm and Martin and so many others, right? Like
I think that, like you said, the death of George. What we do is we wait on Superman. I think we keep waiting on Superman. And
what's going to change that? When will we stop doing that, Dr. Chester? Maybe to Dr. Claude Anderson's point, he said, as you know, that Black people are going to be a permanent underclass. Now, he didn't say, for some time. He said permanent. And you know what, Doc? I cannot argue with that. It bothers me immensely that he said that and that I can't argue with him. I couldn't argue with him back. I would have argued him down back then, right? 30 plus years later, I can't argue. And
because I'm literally saying that about 17, 18 years ago at FAMU. I used to do this analogy and tell them, like, this is the race of life. I said, what's happening, because I'm big in sports. I would say we line up at the track, right? And already people already took off before us. Like, we know the white society in front of us. They got a jump start. But then when the rest of us take off, the Asian, Hispanic, everybody else running, y'all asses still back there stretching. Y'all still on the line talking and stretching. I don't know what it's going to take to get y'all in this race. I used to say that then, and to your point, I'm just like, wow, now it's still more relevant than ever. Because I was saying then that, the Hispanics are going to overtake us. I was like, because I'm like, it's whites, Blacks, and then, I was like, well, it's going to be, and I saw it happen. I did. So I know what you're saying.
I really wish I had. So I'm asking you, obviously I don't know. I don't know if anyone has the answer. I just don't know.
I cannot believe that we cannot come out of this because we are genius.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm still optimistic, because there's no one that can convince me that we can't do it. Whether or not we will is another conversation, but I'm always optimistic because I know how powerful we are. The same power that I have, the capabilities that I have, is what all of us have as a people. And so I don't really know, Doc. I'm hopeful. I'm going to continue to do the work. This Kickstarter that I have here is just a small drop in the bucket for people that rock with this message. I put a post on my IG recently. It said, you know what? I'd rather have 4 quarters than 90 pennies. You understand? I'd rather have 4 quarters than 90 pennies.
I was just having a similar conversation with somebody yesterday about that. He said he'd rather have 10 dimes than $1. And so
there it is. So it's that same mentality. So that mentality speaks to a certain mindset, a certain segment of our community. My plan is to galvanize the few and the mighty. The few and the mighty, and keep it moving. I just hate to know that it's just going to be the few of us and so many people will get left behind. That doesn't sit well with me. You understand? It doesn't sit well with me.
I don't think they'll get left behind. I mean, I think what will happen is the few and the mighty will impact the masses. I think that's just like, I think most people are waiting for this great big revolution when it's going to be a small select few that help to change the trajectory. It's just that we all have to wake up and do our part. What we have to do is, and I said it during Kwanzaa, I'll say it again. I think what happens, I use the analogy of the house. We come together, we say we're finna build this house. Everyone knows that the first thing, the most important thing of the house is the foundation. So we got the plans, we got all the plans for the house. And before we can talk about the foundation, 25 to 30% of us worried about the colors of the walls that for the rooms that ain't even built yet. And we ain't even got the damn foundation for it.
You speaking to the problem again, Doc. Every time you start to say something that's sounds like we're going in the right direction, you share exactly the truth.
The problem is, so people can understand, what we have to do is we have to unify on something. We're not going to agree 100%. All right, we can worry about the walls later. Let's get the foundation right. So my problem is telling you, you have to wake up and realize you're a part of the problem. when you're focusing on the walls instead of the foundation. We get caught up on things like sexuality and religion and this and that, when we need to first just center around just blackness. Just center around this and what we're not receiving, women, gender. We let people put all these what do I call it? Banana in the tailpipes, you know, and we're focusing about the wrong things. We are. We gotta, and I agree. I agree. But that's where it is, Mike. We have to stop worrying about things that don't matter right now. What is that? Like the one thing that you see with the Hispanic culture, everybody except us, they unite on certain things. They don't get in all that list. This what we asking for. This is what we asking for as Hispanics. We're not breaking up into all these different subsets about what religion I am and who I identify as, you know, gender wise and sexuality wise, and I'm a you know, because black women, you know, they pit black women against black men, and then, you know, it's so much that we allow to separate us, as opposed to, again, just worrying about that foundation. I think, you know, 92% of us, that's us black women over here, we said we was, you know, we was hey, you do it. We taking a rest, right? We taking a rest when it comes to society at large and helping fix problems and this and that, because it's time for us to focus on our own problems. I don't think we do that. You know, I'll be the first one to admit, I used to get into arguments about gender a lot, right? But then I started realizing, why am I arguing for a group of people that ain't damn never argue for me? Because before I'm woman, I'm black. I am a black woman. And being black, that's it. You know, and I want you women who are on here, go look at feminism versus womanism. And I realize I'm not a feminist. I'm a womanist. And that's it. That's a very, very important distinction, to be a woman and not a feminist. Because the womanist knows that we still centered around the man.
You know, I'm always going to fight this fight. I ain't going nowhere. As much as I talk trash about, you know, I don't talk trash. As much as I share my frustration, I would never, ever give up this fight, especially now because I'm a father. You understand? Like, maybe if I wasn't a father, I might have just thrown in the towel. But I got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, man. You understand? The Energizer battery in my back has been put on 10. And my capacity for foolishness is like a 0 right now. So, you know, I'm taking no prisoners. I'm moving with a force that is just, you know, on beast mode. And I'm very grateful to those people that have backed me thus far on this project and the several more that will before the end of the month, because this campaign ends at the end of the month. Hopefully I reach my goal of 100 backers. That's what I'd like to see for this campaign. And I'm going to keep it moving forward, man. We're not doing this. We're doing it. Welcome new. We're not looking back. So That's right. All right. Well, look, I got to get ready to go, and I know you're busy.
I was just about to say, we getting out of here at 9:30. What's your last parting words to the good people?
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to share and allow other people to share in the success of Black Lion and Cubs, contributing to an anime film with Black heroes that's appropriate for all ages, bringing the entire family together. In this case, a storyline centered around a young lady that represents the best of our young girls, the best, the brightest, and the most powerful. Everything we want for our young girls. It's African-centered in our culture. And I'm not, you know, trying to sit at someone else's table. I'm building our own table. And I'm sitting at the head of the table, make no mistake, but I want you guys to join me at the table. I don't want you to eat the scraps, man. Let's feast. Let's buffet. Right? Have it your way. And this is my first attempt at doing so by bringing the community together to galvanize around this project. If you're looking for something to back, something to support, check out my page. Just go to the page that Dr. Chester put here. Check out my history. I'm built for this. I've been here. I'm still here. I ain't going nowhere. You understand what I'm saying? And on top of that, I'm a father. So I'm about to smash on fools now. Watch me work. Black Lion and Cubs. My name is Hotep. Hotep means peace, and that's how I want to greet and leave all you guys today. Thank you, Dr. Chester, for the opportunity to share.
Thank you, brother, for sharing. Guys,
All right.
enjoy your night.
Peace.